New episode alert! Insights is back with another great conversation, this time with teen leadership members from the YMCA in Green Hills, Tennessee.
We're all kind of separated in age, but only by like a couple years. I was scared that it was going to be hard to bond with people who are older than me. Like, I feel like it grows our relationships in some way.
Hosted by Patrick Custer, we hear from some impressive young people about their journey growing into the next generations of leaders of this country.
Being able to learn from other people and then learn from myself.
Being a good leader means that you first learn how to follow well.
Click the link for the full episode on Real Bank Media.